What's up everyone, this is a very long video with uncut discussion from our previous stream. To keep things simple, I'll quickly go over the 3 parts. Keep in mind that this tier list only reflects classes in their pre-awakening form. 1. The community survey performance tier list. 2. The community surveyed popularity tier list. And 3. My personal tier list of the classes using a variety of criteria unique to our version of the game. You can find all 3 links in the video description, as well as the layout for my tier list if you don't know the class icons. Like the video, it helps a lot. Drop your opinions in the comments and enjoy. Much love. Bet, so let me open these up. I want to open these up side by side actually. This is the performance tier list, and then this is the popularity tier list. I'll make this smaller. There we go. Bada bing, bada boom. Alright, so this is popularity on the right, then we got performance on the left. And these are both surveys. In this first survey, we got 97 votes. So it was easier to vote for this one because all you had to do was select the classes that you play. And then for this one, you had to vote for every class and rank them. So we only end up getting 57 participants, but honestly that's pretty good because Korean LaTale, when they do their tier list, they end up getting like 70 participants. So honestly, I think it's a pretty good comparison. A pretty good ratio, at least. But what isn't listed here is this is a actual reflection of the percentage of the population that plays the classes, apparently. And if you look at the list, you can see a couple things. I know I'm moving fast here a little bit, but you can see that on this list to the right, a lot of classes have the exact same rank. And this is like the population of people who actually play the classes as mains, or like at least as the top 3 classes they play. And then on this one, the percentage is based off of the average score they got. So averaging out the scores, and it was 1 through 5 essentially. And so yeah, so where do I start with this? So I say I want to look at the top 10 specifically first. Let's look at the top 10 real quick. So yeah, so DF, and it's not rigged. I know I play DF, but honestly I'm not a DF fanatic. I just happened to play DF. I didn't even know it was good when I came back to the game, but apparently DF is the most popular class in our server, and then it's also it's rated and ranked the highest on the tier list, which I think is pretty interesting. I mean, I think it performs really well all around. I think it has like almost everything in its kit. It makes sense. It is super squishy still, but I think it's a really biased thing to say about like having fun, but I just think it curates for a lot of like variety gameplay, because you can do the standstill combat, you can do a lot of numbers, a lot of damage, and then you can also play pretty fast paced. So I don't know, I feel like that adds up. And then Blade Master, which is which honestly it just makes sense while Blade Master's here. I feel like I need to describe Blade Master. I think this is interesting though. I know on Korean LaTale before Awakening, Rogue Master is #1. So that's another thing I want to say about this list, and I find very interesting, and I think should be taken with a grain of salt or with some consideration, is that on Korean LaTale, the player base is, you know, their experience is different than ours, from like the latency experience they have to their game being older and the access to certain items in the game, and then their overall knowledge basis of the game is just different, and their approach to the game is different on the lower end or the higher end. And I feel like it's easy to follow the Korean meta, but I think from looking at these results, I think it really does reflect our population. The DF thing is still confusing to me because I feel like I don't see that many DFs like that, but maybe DF is just like everybody's sleeper secondary or something. But yeah, I find the Rogue Master thing interesting because Rogue Master's #1 in Korea before Awakening, and here it's #4, but 3 on popularity. But I think that makes sense though, because I feel like on average, a lot of players in our server probably can't afford Rogue Master. They can't afford to make it as good, and so that probably has an impact on it. I think a lot of our players deal with more latency problems. Hold on, bro. I always get super annoyed when this music is loud. It's not even that loud, but it's bothering me. I gotta turn my mouse wheel, my wheel down. Let me see. Let me look at the chat real quick. Yeah, still had to mess around with the elements. And yeah, it still has a fire skill and like an electric skill, but I don't think elemental damage applies anymore like it used to. At least what I've been told from some of the more seasoned players. Your word, Chewy. I mixed up your friends list, your friend request. People are adding me like crazy, bro. I could have sworn I already accepted it though. Yo, Chewy, can you DM me? Oh, there you are, right there. I found you. Yeah, I already accepted it. I'm gonna talk about this more when I get to the pictures, but I'm just trying to get my initial thoughts out with this right now. And I've gotten the chance to play every class now besides Archmaster. Archmaster is the only class on the list I haven't played yet. And granted, I still haven't played like a good 6 to 10 of them in the in-game dungeons, but I've at least played them to whatever extent. Yeah, if you're on the East Coast, you probably have decent latency, like I have decent latency. But there are still players who play outside of the country, because this is still global LaTale. It's like it's North American LaTale, but it's open to the world. So there are people who will experience a lot of lag. Like I'd say a good 20 to 30% of our player base is not located in North America. And granted, our player base is pretty small. When compared to larger MMOs, it's definitely under 1,000 active players, but I'm sure there are way more than like 2,000, 3,000 accounts. But at any given time, these days it's probably under 1,000 active, but probably more than 500 active because of Laboon, which I'm okay with. LaTale doesn't need to be that big. So I feel like those factors have an impact on things. The sword dancer thing, I think that's just people following the AOT hype, because I feel like I don't see sword dancers ever, bro. I feel like I don't see sword dancers ever. Back in the day, sure. In terms of his ranking though, I definitely do think sword dancer is that good. But let me go down the list a little bit more. Popstar, I think this makes sense because I know Popstar was like top DPS some years back. So I think this makes sense. It's also good to see the magic classes in the top 10 too. In general, we got 1, 2, 3 magic classes. I will say I'm pretty surprised that Mace Savior got up there. Like when I played it, for the little bit I played, it does feel really good, but I didn't think it was that good. So I guess it's really good to see a tank in the top 10 too. Even though Shadow Walker is kind of like a pseudo, like a fighter style tank or whatnot. Rick. So this is the thing about this chart too. I really did not trust these results too much on this chart. So when people score 1 through 5, one thing I did, I took averages to do against all the classes. But for the top 5, I felt like there was some trolling going on because the top 5 classes, they had like a weird amount of people voting number 1. So 1 out of 5, which is like, I feel like that's just wild to do when these classes are kind of like commonly known to be good classes. So I took out all the ones, and even when I averaged out all the low ratings that could have had a negative effect on the averages, they actually came out to be the exact same way. I tried to take a couple different angles to figure out what the real top 5 was, and every time I did the different calculations, it just came out to the same thing. So I mean, it's just what the server thinks, what people on the server thinks. It's 57 people out of like 500 plus, but we'll never get everyone anyway. And especially if we rely on Korean LaTale's ranking leaderboard, which kind of, if you ask me, is less reliable outside of just being from a different server, a version of the game. It's even less reliable because they have like 2,000 active players, according to a blog post I looked up. So they have like 2K and they only got like 70 participants on their survey. I feel like that's even less valuable data than what we have. So I feel like this is a pretty accurate representation. And then as it gets lower and lower, when I think about a lot of classes I play, I can kind of respect it more and more. It just gets real funny in the middle in ways that I can't really speak to, but ways that do disappoint me a little bit. Like Spear Hero, I think it's a pretty good class. It's underplayed, but I feel like it could be higher. Will I say it's better than Force Master? I can't really say, because Force Master also fights in the air partially, but Force Master also has like a toggle shield. I think Crossbow Windstalker could be higher. I think Crossbow Windstalker is damn near the exact same class as DF. If you play Crossbow Windstalker in in-game, it plays literally almost the same as DF. They're damn near the same class. So I think that could be higher as well. But once again, like with the Spear, I don't know if Spear is better than Force Master off of the strength of Force Master has summons, and the summons do play a big role. It has a summon, it has summons, and it has a toggle shield, and toggle shields are pretty OP. Blade Master has a toggle shield too. Those are pretty broken. You can just put on a shield at any given time. I want to get back to this. But I want to see. I just want to go over this chart a little bit more. I think that's more fun. Yeah, nothing here is getting buff. Awaken is just the next step in the game's evolution. So that's why I was kind of pressed. And then I think Zaf and somebody else in the LaTale Discord said something that sparked my inspiration to make this, because I was not going to do this until they said what they said. That made me go, oh, that's a good idea. So I probably should do this. And it just makes sense, because now that I have this, or now that we have this now, this can be compared to the post-awakening rankings and popularities, because we get to see how awakening affected these lists. And I'm pretty sure, for what it's worth, I'm pretty sure the top 5 will definitely be changed after awakening, at least. I'm pretty sure it's all going to be changed, because people are going to play certain classes they didn't know they like, or certain classes they didn't know, or certain classes that just became way better, and the list is going to change a lot. And I think it's just fun in general to see the list change. And I'm pretty sure it's not going to stay the same. I will try to get I'll try to go for 57 minimum next time, but I'll try to go for like 70 participants maybe, because I feel like a month after awakening, the game should be even more active than what it is right now. All right, but let me see. Soulless is higher than TK. So look, this is the thing about that, right? So this is why I pulled up both lists, right? Soulless is higher than TK, right? So as an example, I actually like Soulless as a class. I'm not even going to be biased on any of this. I think Soulless is a pretty good class. It's just complex. But let's look at the popularity list, right? You look at the popularity list. It's just funny. They actually share the same popularity, but in general, Soulless is lower on the popularity chart, and it's kind of weird because a lot of these classes popularity rise. They are in the same popularity tiers or whatnot, so it's hard to judge them when they share the same space with a lot of other classes. But I think it's interesting to look at both of these charts, and I'll drop this one in the chat too. It's interesting to look at both of these charts and look at how certain classes may have more popularity or less popularity, but how they reflect on this tier list is different. And speaking of that, let's go down to like the bottom so I can move on to the next phase of the situation. Like this is more fun to look at than the top to me. So Sword Savior, which I actually 100% agree with, Sword Savior is probably the worst class in the game currently, just off of its fighting. Like I feel like as a support and all that, I think it works fine in a party setting, and I think this is actually a strong reflection of how party content in LaTale NA is dead, right? That's kind of deep. If you think about it, I feel like if we had active partying in our server, it was a common thing, this class would be ranked way higher, because this class has an immunity skill that is pretty good and reliable for a party situation. But since we don't play as parties, it's hard to judge this class for its overall ability. Like I feel like when people were judging Popstar, they weren't just judging it, once again, its performance. They weren't just judging it off of its ability to do damage. They were also judging it based off of its overall viability, over its overall performance, because not everyone, but a lot of people have Popstar mules, right? A lot of people pay for Popstar buff. A lot of people try to find a Popstar. I need a Popstar buff on this music, bro. This stuff is quiet. I know I turned it down, but damn. All right. So yeah, I feel like that this is a reflection of what Popstar is all around. But since if you look at in concept, right, Sword Savior is one of the least popular classes in the server. If you pair that with its low performance, it just kind of reflects that people not playing the class, it has an impact on people's ability to understand its performance like as a whole, opposed to just its ability to perform on its own. So I think that's an interesting concept, because I played Sword Savior literally on stream a couple days ago, and I immediately felt like it just wasn't good, especially when compared to Mace Savior, for example. But let's see, Mace Savior is, I wouldn't say significantly, but it's more popular than Sword, and that little or that bit of popularity is enough for people to judge it to an extent where it ends up being 9th on the performance tier list. So I think that's pretty interesting. Whistle says Phantom Mage and Sword Savior should swap. I have yet to play Phantom Mage inside of the in-game dungeons, but I've touched it a bit. The kit does not feel bad. It has bleeds on all of skills. I think the bleeds having a chance instead of like a guaranteed, that's kind of weird. And I feel like the bleeds could just be better in general. I feel like our combat right now is too fast to be relying on bleeds. I think Phantom Mage would be like, once again, if we had a stronger duo meta, a Phantom Mage would be really good in the in-game duo team because of the bleeds, stuff like that. Like, it's just things to consider. I think Sefirot could end up being a little lower. Oh, I think it's cool that Demigod is the least popular class in the game, yet somehow it's still ranked higher than these classes, so that's another cool concept. And a lot of this is kind of weird to compare because of the stats. I'm trying to see if I can find something that's like a crazy outlier. Oh, this is what's crazy. This is what's crazy. Windstalker, Dagger, and Crossbow are ranked 9 and 10 for popularity, but it's clearly because everyone has an E-League gain rate farming Windstalker. But when you come over here, Windstalker Bow is one of the lowest tier classes in the game, respectfully. And where's Dagger? Dagger is also one of the lowest tier classes, respectfully. So I think that's pretty interesting, considering how high they are on the popularity chart. Archmage is apparently more popular than we thought, but that popularity is shared. But on this tier list, it drops all the way down to 24 in terms of performance, so that's pretty interesting. And then some of the subclasses really surprised me, because subclasses are just stronger all around. And I play both of these subclasses, and I think they're pretty good, but I can't really even argue their performance against a lot of these other classes up here, because even though these classes are good in my opinion, I still would play most of the classes above it over these two, just off of the strength of how much more viable they are and how much more reliable they are. That's one big thing about every class that's in like the top, let's see, really the top 20. The top 20 or maybe top 15. The top 15 are some really like reliable classes. You can really, yeah, I'll say it that way. And since it's 16 out of 32, yeah, I'll do that. Let's do that. The top half of the tier list are some very reliable classes. Like, you can play these classes, any one of the top 16 from Maestro up, and you can rely on the gameplay. Like, I feel like you can damn near play any of these classes and build them out the same way, and it'll be hard to tell the difference. The major classes where the difference becomes really obvious is like DF Blade Master, Agni, Rogue Master, and the Popstar thing surprised me, but I haven't really seen any. I haven't played with like strong pop stars. I've only seen pop star buffers, so I don't really know too much about that one. But I feel like DF Blade Master, Agni, Rogue Master, and Starseeker specifically in like the top 10. I feel like, oh, and Arc Master too. I feel like when you put those classes up against everybody else, they're kind of obviously better in so many ways. What's a subclass? A subclass is at level 140, you unlock a literal subclass. You get access to another class within your class, and you can choose between them. There are 9 of them in the game currently, and they are Mage, Terror Knight, PsyKicker, Jewel Star, Highlander, Maestro, Judgement, and Starseeker. Starseeker's and Rogue Master. Rogue Master and Starseeker are the top 2 subclasses. Oh, and Sword Dancer. Jesus, I could have sworn I counted 9 by now. Alright, last thing I want to do while looking at these lists though, because these aren't the most entertaining lists. I want to talk about how I think this list will change, just to make a prediction. How I think this list will change specifically. Oh, I'll do both. I'll do both. After Awakening. I think after Awakening, unfortunately, I think Sword Dancer is going to be a top. Even though that's Korean LaTale inspired. I still think Sword Dancer is going to be at the top. I think Blade Master is going to be top 5 still. I think Rogue Master is going to fall out of the top 5. And honestly, with our server, I think Rogue Master might fall out of the top 10. I'm not going to lie to you. I think Rogue Master will be the biggest fall off out of all of these classes. I think Agni is going to stay top 5. I think more people are picking up Agni right now than ever, especially with that video I made about Doocy. And then there are some other in-game players who have been posting like Agni gameplay videos, and I think a lot of people weren't aware of how good Agni was until recently. And then Agni's Awakening is actually crazy too, super crazy, even visually. It's one of the craziest awakenings. So I think Agni's gonna stay. I think Popstar is probably gonna balance out, even like it'll probably be the like maintain its popularity or become more popular as the most popular like magic class. Yeah, the game is off right now. It's down for maintenance for 4 hours. So we're playing the performance game or the tier list game. I think post Awakening. Let's go to the bottom. I'm not gonna talk about everybody, but I think post Awakening, Sefirot's going to jump like 10. I think Sefirot will jump 10 post Awakening. I think Dark Chaser won't jump immediately, but I think Dark Chaser's going to jump in like a couple months. I think Terror Knight's going to jump 10 spots post Awakening. I think Terror Knight's going to jump in performance and popularity. I think Dagger Windstalker is going to jump a good like 5 or 10. Not that much though, because I think Dagger Windstalker is one of those like cool gimmick type situations, but I don't think everyone's actually going to play it. PsyKicker might move up a little bit or might balance out. Jewel Star, I feel like Jewel Star could have a moment somewhere down the line, but probably not immediately, because I think it's one of those situations where people are probably going to be more interested in playing other classes Awakening over Jewel Star, unfortunately. So I feel like Jewel Star probably stay where it's at or somewhere similar. I think Crossbow is going to drop actually. I think Crossbow is going to become less popular and less or just lower on the performance ranking. I think Soulless one's going to probably move up a rank or 2 or just stay in this area it's at. Honestly, it's not a bad rank, 13. I think top 16, the top half is pretty good all around. I can see Maestro going up. I can see Archmaster coming down, obviously, honestly, not obviously, but, and that's just because I feel like Archmaster is one of those classes that has a lot going on right now, and I feel like a lot of other classes are going to come up. It's like the Rogue Master thing. I feel like classes like Archmaster and Rogue Master are going to come down. I think DF will probably fall from number 1. And that's mostly because I think DF's Awakening comparatively to a lot of other classes is kind of boring. I think it's like one of the more boring Awakenings. Like it has, and you know, this is all opinion, but I think DF's Awakening, they didn't do the most with it. It's some cool things going on. It depends on the culture, you know what I'm saying? People might like rifles and the air mechanic and all that, or people might just like damage. But I think DF's going to come off of the top slot. Like it's not that far. These are all percentages, like decimal points, bro. It's not that far. Shadow Walker probably is going to balance out where it's at or drop. It might drop in popularity. I think Shadow Walker is one of those classes where right now it stands out a lot as well because of the way it plays, but now other classes are catching up. Probably going to drop, even though I think Shadow Walker's Awakening is really good too. This is no shade to any class's Awakening. I'm just making some predictions. I feel like Black Anima is probably going to jump pretty hard. Swordian's going to jump pretty hard. I think I said that already. I think the 2 heroes are going to drop or like balance out around the same area. I don't know about Judgement. I think Highlander might make a comeback, a slight comeback. I think the Highlander Awakening is super flashy, super big. It might get into the top 16, but probably not go that crazy because there's still some shortcomings of it. But yeah. And then popularity wise, kind of the same concepts. Yeah, those are the charts. Now, I'm gonna do the last part of this stuff. I don't know if you all know what all these classes are, but I'll just say them when I move them around. All right, so I'm going to actually rank everything in my current opinion of where everything belongs. All right, so I'll kind of, well, no, I'll just do this. This is the absolute opinion. This is all opinion. Based off of what playing these classes all recently, and just, I don't know, how they feel potential-wise. I like to go off of the feeling of the class, because if I can feel what I can do with it, it isn't really about, for me, it isn't about how much effort it takes, or how easy it is to play up front. It's about, like, does it feel like, do I feel like I can play the game the way this class was made and intended, and I can achieve when playing it? That's kind of how I feel about it. Like, do I feel like if I actually learn this class that I can be successful in the game and progress and not be annoyed by the progression? All right, so S tier. Should I go S, or how should I do it? Should I start from S and go down, or should I go down and go up? What should I do? Oh man, I didn't mean to do that. Should I start from the bottom and go up, or should I start from the top and go down? Let me get a quick vote. Top, down, top. Let me get a 30-second vote. Let me get a 30-second vote. I threw a poll in the chat. Much love. All right, okay. I'm gonna count down. 10 seconds. 9 seconds. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh, my bad. There's a delay on the stream, so I counted down. I counted down, and some people probably didn't even hear me. All right, bet. Down to top. All right, I'm going to start. Okay, this is pretty easy. I actually agree. I think is this the right one? This is the right one. I have two of them on here. No, this is the wrong one. This is Sword Savior. I wish I had to cut all of these out on my own. Well, no, I had these from a resource pack I got from Zav. I wanted to cut them out. I want to cut them out with the versions that have their names on them. But I'm gonna put Sword Savior at the bottom. Or, I mean, even the tier list said it. I think Sword Savior belongs at the bottom though. Just playing it like it's operations, it has way too many skills and they're not efficient. And it's a tank class, so it's not meant to have damage like that. And I honestly feel like this class was just meant to be played with the party. I think if we were in LaTale 2008, 2012, and Sword Savior plays the way it does now, I think it would be one of the best classes because people were playing in parties more than they play in parties now. Like the spooky era, the spooky era, the Sky Kali era, I think it'd be easier for people to play those dungeons and be able to mob more mobs or stay alive. Like the World Genesis, the Odin era, I feel like this class would be a lot better during those eras where people played in parties a lot more. And I think the immunity skill is like one of the best skills in the game as a party skill. But we have Union in the game now, so like if a party goes into an in-game dungeon and 4 people put on Unias or 8 people or whatever, it's like this class is just obsolete. So its best mechanic isn't even valued in our server. So this class is at the bottom. I'll be honest, I actually am not a man of strong low tier opinion. I actually don't think most classes belong down here. And so from what I've played, And I'll be honest, I haven't 100% played everything to the same extent, so I'm not going to hard judge anything that I haven't played to that extent. And I'll say what I haven't played to a certain extent, but I'll also judge it based off of my knowledge of videos and player performance, etc. But for D tier, damn, that song is loud. I think, yeah, I don't think any other class is D tier. I think this is the only class that belongs down here, to be honest. Like, this is the only class I believe belongs down here. So I'm going to go to C tier now, and now it gets a little bit easier for me. I think Sefirot is probably the bottom of C tier for right now. I'm going to go with Sefirot. I think Sefirot is like a very high skill, bro. Golly, bro. Like, relax, dude. I think I think Sefirot is like a high skill class. It uses a lot of combos, and it does like a lot of air comboing. And in the current in game where you're mobbing, or you're luring the whole room, or you're luring a large amount of mobs, I think it becomes very ineffective. It's one of those classes that relies on bleed, and I think bleed is an outdated mechanic, at least to the extent to which they have it built right now. So I feel like Sefirot belongs at the bottom. And on that same note, I have not put a lot of time into Phantom Mage, but I'm going to use some community opinion off of this one. And I feel like Phantom Mage also belongs down there if I can find her. I have not spent enough time on Phantom Mage to draw the strongest opinion, but based off the knowledge I do have, and I actually messed around with it a lot this morning. The bleed mechanic, the bleed reliance is also, it's the same problem with Phantom Mage. These are classes that are relying on a relatively outdated mechanic in the game, at least when it comes to like easy dungeons, because of how fast we kill in easy dungeons. Maybe in normal dungeons they could potentially be more viable for their playstyle, but I think after Awakening, Sefirot will get a bigger buff, and it's a hard class to play. It's hard to play, and it's very punishing. If you drop the combos, you'll probably get killed if the mobs you're lured are too much, and then it's just not putting out that much damage. At the same time, I cannot get these music volumes right, bro. Why are all the LaTale songs just different volumes? I cannot get the song volumes the same. Somebody said the Sefirot is S tier, relax. I think, yeah, so that's that. Phantom Mage is the worst subclass. Also because of the dual damage mechanic, I feel like that's very confusing in an already difficult to stat game. And that's hard to fund as well, and understand how to properly fund that. Next C tier. I'll be honest. I think I want to put one more down here for the sake of it, but honestly, I've played a lot of these classes recently, and I actually don't think most of the cast is bad. I really don't think most of the class is that bad. Most of the cast plays pretty decent, but I'll be realistic here. I think I'll consider a lot of factors, and I'm just making the factors up at this point. I don't have the criteria, like just survivability, difficulty, and play. I like how hard it is for a new player, you know what I'm saying, and ability to put out damage safely without resources. I think Dagger Stalker is actually C tier as well, which is one of my main classes, but it is C tier because the amount of effort it takes to play this class is just too high. And I play all the Windstalkers for the most part, and when I compare them to their opposing class, Gunslinger DF, which we all know where that's going to go, they're miles away, bro. It's really night and day. And Dagger Windstalker is the worst of them, because Dagger Windstalker has to rush into mobs in order to fight the mobs, and it's rushing into them with no extra mechanics on top. Like, it doesn't have like a summon to place down to do extra damage. It has 1 shield. It has a stun skill as well. And then another thing is that, and this is in a LaTale, right? I think Dagger Windstalker's main damaging mechanic, which is like a movement mechanic where it's sliding across mobs when it fights. Those mechanics are not that good for our server where latency is an issue. So you get displacement issues with that, and I feel like that's automatically a problem. Granted, it's a Windstalker, right? So they do high damage if you can make them work, but honestly, that's more like you've already gotten good stats on your account. Like I've gotten some decent stats, and you transfer your good gear over to it, because I know I've played Dagger Windstalker on stream and I have videos of it, but when I was playing it like 3-4 months ago, when I wasn't as strong as I am now, I used to die a lot on this class, like a lot. Bro! Bro, what is up with this game? You can't do a LaTale playlist for nothing. But yeah, I used to die a lot on this class, bro. And I think like the shield, that's the other funny thing about it. It has a shield, but the shield doesn't really do anything because defense in the late game isn't as valuable when you're luring a lot of mobs. But that's my spill on that. Next, I will go up a little bit. I'll put one more class in C. I feel like only one more class really deserves to be down there from what I've played. Nah, there's 2 more classes. There's 2 more classes. There's 2 more. There's 2 more. Which one is better? Honestly, it sucks. I like this class too. All the classes I like are gonna end up down here. I think Dark Chaser belongs down there. And it's just like I haven't played it in the end game yet. Nah, I can't do that. I can't do it. I just nah, because I can't do that. Dark Chaser, even from the little bit I've played it and experienced it, I really can't do that. And I can't do it because it has a I'll explain it later. I'll explain it later. Dark Chaser's beats here though. We're gonna put Bow Windstalkers next. They're literally side by side. And Bow is there because it's a range class and it doesn't have a lot of range. It has a really good trapping setup, but it's another high effort class, and it also has like one of the best backsteps in the game, but the backstep moves really far really fast, and that's a problem with our latency on our server. So that's one situation. It has a really good stun and a really good trapping setup, but it's a lot of work. And so I feel like for the amount of time it takes to do the setup and do the damage on this class, there's a lot more other classes where you would have already done the damage. And like Rogue Master is a good example. That I was watching a Rogue Master video earlier today. I don't know where he is on here somewhere, but I was watching a Rogue Master video earlier today, and it's like Rogue Master, the damage just comes right out. It's just burst. It's like what the other Windstalker should be to some extent. The damage just comes right out. It's a lot of it at once. It's hitting a lot. It's hitting a lot of mobs, and it's fast, and it just gets the job done. And then the escapes with the subclass sprint and its own teleport is just good. It's good. So comparing Rogue Master to these two, and these, this is the subclass of these essentially. Like it's night and day. These classes are way worse. And I think Dagger is going to go up a lot. Probably it's like A tier after Awakening, but for right now it's down here. It's just too risky to play. And the things that make it risky right now with Awakening is going to evolve. The 2 skills I described, where you're crossing mobs. One of the skills gives you a bit of it gives you invulnerability, and then the other skill is like it becomes more of a teleport rather than a slide. So I think it's going to go up. Bow on the other hand, I'm not really sure after Awakening. I know it gets bigger hitboxes and whatnot, but it's still super squishy, and it still requires that trapping gameplay, which is just difficult to pull off with our server. And it just slows down damage. All right. Oh yeah, we got some Dark Chaser players in the chat. Much love. Yeah, I'll give my spill on that, and I'll take some of the spills from the guys in the chat as well. Some of the homies in the chat definitely respect their Dark Chaser opinions. Someone said PsyKicker C tier. Nah, I play PsyKicker, bro. PsyKicker's not C tier, but remember these are actually in order. So it's right now it's Savior, Sefirot, Phantom Mage, Dagger, Bow. But I don't think the rest of these, let me look around real quick. Because I'm really basing C tier off of their ability to just, like, their ability to perform in the game in a way that's comfortable, bro. Like, these classes are very uncomfortable and they're so slow. Like, their clears are slow. They just take so much more effort compared to other classes, despite this damage you can have when you have a lot of stats. PsyKicker isn't really like that. But I will take that though. I will take that. I'll put PsyKicker at the bottom of B tier. I'll put PsyKicker at the bottom of B tier. Now, is PsyKicker better than Dark Chaser? I'm going to say, because PsyKicker is a knight at heart, it has a summon. PsyKicker got a buff in the Sanctuary update. It has a pretty good stun, and it has invulnerability and a long combo. PsyKicker can't be at the lowest of B tier, but I'll put it in there for now. Dark Chaser, a couple homies in the chat. Team says Dark Chaser bad range and lack of knockback resistance skills. I felt the bad range. Zeke believes it's B tier as well. I just playing this class recently. It's a very fast class. It has 2 abilities to dodge. The chain skills are the main reason why I'm putting it where it's at. Those chain skills are really busted. Like, just the ability to spike that much damage when the chains load up is pretty crazy. And I'd say it has a lot of like high effort potential, but I feel like you will survive much longer on Dark Chaser than you will on Bow and Dagger. So I feel like it's better in that sense, and you can fight up front a lot more with the stun setups off of the chain skills. It has some other combo procs I can't remember off the top of my head, but I just remember, like I said at the very beginning of this, off of the feeling of playing them, Dark Chaser felt way more solid. It felt way more put together than these classes did. Dark Chaser has some things that these classes just don't, and it feels more solid, but it's definitely the weakest of the solid classes. And so I'll continue on that note. Let's see what we got here. TK. Which one do I have an easier time doing RG on? TK or Lamp Black Anima? Like, Lamp Black Anima is really good, believe it or not. We got Demigod down here though. I don't think Demigod is terrible so far, because it has a lot of utility. It has a lot of utility. I feel like classes with an extremely large amount of utility can't be at the bottom. Jewel Star's really good. I'm starting to move some things over in the ways where I think they'll probably fall into the list. Jewel Star, let's get Force Master up there. Let's get Sword Hero up there. This is going to be Spear Hero. Let's get Highlander up there. Let's get... Okay, cool. Okay, so this is getting a little easier now. I think... So PsyKicker, I didn't go into in depth with it, but PsyKicker has pretty good damage potential. It's slow. It's another one of those slower classes to fight, despite the fact that it can do the dashing around. But it's slow in fighting, but it's not slow in its actual movement. So it can move around. It's just that it also relies on this weird setup system, and then it also, like, you only play with like 2 skills when you're using PsyKicker, bro. Like 2 or 3 skills, and it's so repetitive, and it doesn't feel as rewarding as some of my other classes. And granted, you know, I play PsyKicker as well, and I put my good gear on it, and you know, that carries it a bit. But thinking back, when I was trying to level up on my DF and my PsyKicker side by side, I just remember losing a lot of time off my gameplay with PsyKicker, and it was hard to tell why. It's mostly because, like, the damage is good, but it comes out, it takes these long skills for the damage to come out. And I feel like how long it takes to get the damage out is a bad sign for this class. And it doesn't have any like short animation skills. Like, the shortest animation skill is still slightly charged up. But after Awakening, I'm really hoping this class gets a good boost. I think it can rise up a lot. I'm really hoping it does. I'm looking forward to it, and I really hope so, because if not, I'm gonna switch from PsyKicker to TK. And on that note, I think TK is right above PsyKicker. I think these two are close. I think TK has a more bursty damage output. I think it has some pretty cool utility after the Sanctuary update. I know I learned a couple things from somebody in the chat when I was doing RG runs with TK. TK had some it has some cool setups, but it's very slow. It's slower than PsyKicker, but it's more bursty than PsyKicker, and it's tankier than PsyKicker. And so I feel like it's better than PsyKicker for those reasons. I think you can progress through the game a lot better with TK than you can with PsyKicker for sure. And I'm looking forward to TK becoming like an A S tier for real. The savior in D is Sword Savior. It's a Sword Savior. Sword Savior. I don't think Swordian is bad. I don't think Swordian's a bad class. I'm not gonna lie to you. I think Swordian has to be like lower A tier, to be honest. Swordian is a very good summon setup class with a lot of DPS. It's been nerfed from what I've learned, but I think Swordian has a lot more potential than a lot more of these classes. It is slow as well, but I think it gets a lot more done in with the wide AoEs it has, and just the large amount of numbers. Like it's similar to Starseeker in that regard. It's really like a mini Starseeker if you think about it. Like in concept, it makes sense. This is the subclass for it. And I think I'll start. This is weird. So I have not played enough of the new Highlander, but I feel like all these subclasses that are right here are suffering from like similar things, bro. They're these hard-hitting classes that take forever to do their damage. Like they hit or they take forever to move through the dungeon. Like they're all strong. They're subclasses, you know what I mean? But like all three of these classes are suffering from a similar problem. Like mechanically, they just take forever to get their damage, get moving. Like Terra Knight does a lot of damage up front, but then it takes forever to get moving. PsyKicker does a lot of damage like over time, and it moves fast, but it takes forever to do damage over time. And then Highlander's kind of in the middle of both of these. And granted, it has a pretty good summon, and it has a like an invulnerable that I think is pretty good. And honestly, it's only over these three because it's a warrior, and so I think the strength boost it has over these also plays a role in it being a bit stronger. The new Highlander's D tier. Nah, I mean, like the thing about the subs though, I feel like no subs should really be that low. Phantom Mage is really only down there mostly because of the hybrid thing. I think if Phantom Mage was a straight magic or straight physical, it'd be easier to put it higher. But the hybrid thing really drains it down. The hybrid plus the bleed makes Phantom Mage not be so good. So yeah, I think these three are in like a similar pool. And honestly, I think Jewel Star is better than all three of them, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you. I know it's kind of funny, but I'm not gonna lie to you, because Jewel Star has like a one in. It's like the only class in the game with the mechanic that it has, where it taunts the mobs, and the mobs just literally just stop fighting you to give their attention to something else. I think that's pretty OP. Like Terra Knight, PsyKicker have a slow. Highlander has the slow. They all have that same thing that's just kind of reskinned. But Jewel Star has a pretty good summon, and Jewel Star, I think, would be higher if it didn't have RNG. I'm not gonna lie, this class is pretty strong. I played it. I have a whole stream on my channel posted of it, and it's a pretty good class. Like it flowed really well. I think it's actually better than a lot of the it's better than a lot of the other mages in ways, but it's being held back by the RNG. I think if this class didn't have RNG, if you could actually set up all of its setups it has, I think it'd be way more reliable. But it's a pretty solid, straightforward class. It works pretty well and it's straightforward. Also has life drain on it too. Then next, I was gonna hold this one out longer, but I'd be doing the most if I did that. I'd be doing the most. Hold on, I might be missing. No. I'll be doing the most. So, I think Jade Black Anima. Jade Black Anima is actually really good. Like it's like a pseudo summon class. It's being carried by these buffs. That's also like a drawback because you have to go in a dungeon and use like 10 buffs to start the game. But I think Jade Black Anima is actually really good. It has a really good shield on it. It has Black Anima's like base damage. It has 2 summons. It has 1 summon. Look, it sounds crazy, but it has 1 summon. It has 1 summon that hits 12 mobs. and it walks around and follows you. That is kind of broken. Like if you really think about it, if you really think about it, it's really broken. Like it summons a small samurai, and you walk around the map, and it'll teleport back to you, and it'll stun the mobs right in front of you. And it doesn't have a cooldown. Every time it attacks, it has like a chance to stun the mobs, and it's a pretty high chance, if not 100%. But it's pretty broken. Like it's a in concept. It's really good. It's really strong because it's not like it's doing low damage. It's stunning them, in the setup is just really good. And then it has like the Starseeker vibe going on, where it summons the big eyes, and then it has the other small summon, and then when it starts stacking the damage up, it's really good. But it is bursty though, so like the Jewel Jade thing is a little tricky. It's a little bursty. I think Jewel will be better, and I think Jewel would be A tier if it didn't have RNG. If you take the RNG out of this class, it's a really solid class. Take the RNG out, the taunt comes back super fast. It has like 2-3 summons, and the taunt comes back fast. I think it's really good, and the lifesteal. But this class is more consistent. It just has these holes. It has these holes in it where you do the burst setup, and then it's on cooldown for a little minute, and you have to rely on these smaller skills that don't do that much damage. And that's pretty much the major drawback. But it has a really good shield, and it has some good summons. So I think when you start, and that's another thing too, when you start to look at the classes with like really good summons, it starts to carry the class a lot. So I'll put Jade there, and then I'll put the last two I'll put in here from what I'm looking at. No. I'll put another one in there. I'll put another. Put these three. These last three. I'm trying to figure out the order though. What is the order on these last three? I think I'm gonna put Force Master lower. Force Master is Magic Sefirot. It does damage much better. It has a toggle shield. It has a shield mid combo. It has like combo switch ups with less buttons, ironically. What else does this last do? It has summons. The summons are broken. Like the summons, I feel like none of the summon classes can be down here. I feel like as a default, all the summon classes have to be in B tier, because summons in LaTale are just OP all around. It has summons, but the summons are RNG, and you know, but I think they're better than Jewel Stars. They're a little bit more reliable, and there's one skill you can use where you can guarantee a summon for the most part, and then it has the toggle shield and it has more mobility than Jewel Star, and it has a lot more burst damage than Jewel Star up front. And so I think that plays a role in its damage. And I play both of these classes, and once again I'm going off of a lot of feeling here. And when I play this class, I feel like I shred through the game much faster than I do in this class. But this class does feel really strong. It feels stronger than these other guys I play, ironically. And it has more strength. Jade Black Anima has a lot of strength, ironically. I mean, it's Black Anima. And then I'll go with Demigod. I just started playing Demigod. I haven't figured it out completely. I have not played it in the end game yet, so this is one of those weird ones. But I would say based off of the kit alone, I think this is like one of those super high skill classes, but unlike Seffi, it can actually deal the damage. Demigod has like, in the divine mode, it has like 3 summons, so automatically OP. It has summons in the rage mode, chaos mode as well. The rage mode, when you're in rage mode, all of the skills besides the infinity can be used twice in a row. So that means all the skills with CC on them can be used twice back to back. You know, multiple knockbacks, multiple life drains, multiple, I don't know if there's a shield in rage mode, multiple stuns, multiple slows. So I feel like, you know, utility is king in this game, so the fact that it can use utility so much back to back is pretty good. And then when it's not in utility mode or in spam mode, it has the summons to rely on, so I think that's pretty good. I haven't gotten to take it that far yet, but it felt better and more reliable than these. Honestly, it felt better than and more reliable than a lot of these by just spamming skills. I was just spamming skills felt pretty good. And then I'm going to end it with Archmage. I felt like, you know, I said Archmage was A tier when I was playing it, but after playing a lot of other classes all around though, it's just another one of those situations where Archmage has a lot of potential. It's hard to understand like Demigod, but it's easier to understand than Demigod. and easier to set up. But once you have Archmage's setups down pack and you understand how to use it, Archmage is really good. I think Archmage can survive really well. It has heals on all the water skills. It has utility all around. It has summons. It has slows. You can play Archmage in like 3 or 4 different ways, playstyle wise. Archmage has setups. It's just not an easy class. It's not beginner friendly class. Anything down here is just not going to be beginner friendly. Honestly, these are going to be like, you come into the game and you play these first, you're going to be asking a lot of questions, and you're probably not going to like the game because it's going to be too hard to comprehend how to play the class. It won't be obvious or right in your face. So I think I'm going to end beats here with Archmage being there. And honestly, I think Force Master could be an A tier if it didn't have RNG on its summons. I think Jewel Star could be an A tier if it didn't have RNG on the summons. And I think Black Anima could be an A tier if it was more reliable outside of the burst that it has. Bro, Maestro is not. I'm going up the list. Oh my god. Have I slandered Maestro? I'm not going to slander Maestro. Maestro is definitely a top tier class. Yeah, Maestro has like a crazy amount of life still, which is why it's not going to be at the bottom. It's going to be an A tier class. A tier is going to be tough. A tier is going to be tough. And this is where my opinion is going to start getting a little weird, and I may need some help from the chat. But like, even with the Demigod situation, I feel like Demigod has a lot of potential, but I haven't played it enough for real, so I'm placing it here. But I just know, I'm also using what the community said here. I'm kind of like taking the community's opinion, mixing mine in there, and there are similarities here, but I'm also moving some things around in ways that I think are better. Like, I don't think Demigod is that bad. I don't think, what I'm saying, like, I'm moving these things around in a bit. Like, I don't think PsyKicker is better than Archmage. I don't think Dagger Windstalker is that good. Like, I'm moving some things around. But in this section, honestly, I'll take this section with a grain of salt. These 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I think they can be placed in different orders based off of their situations. The RNG setups, the summon setups with no damage outside of it, outside of like the burst combo and the shield, the summon reliability, and the summon RNG, the complexity and confusion, and then just the difficulty of playing. I feel like these could be changed around in any type of way, but I think all these subclasses have the same problem, and I think Dark Chaser is a I wouldn't say complex, but I think it's well built. It just has low stats in like low range. All right, so let's go to the next tier. So I didn't put Sword or Spear. Well, Spear I think is a good class. I didn't put Sword low. Haven't played Sword a lot, but I will say all of the classes that have that I still don't know what to call that thing. What is it called when you just hold down one button and do attacks? What is that called? That has to, like, I know the game calls it something. I can never remember what it's called. But Sword Hero does that thing, and that thing, it's okay on classes like Dark Chaser, but it's really good on the classes that can move around like infinitely. And so I feel like Sword Hero is one of those classes where you can always just out-kite everything. It's called a Go Burr. Oh, the combo skills. Much love. Yeah, Sword has one of the combo skills. And so I feel like it has to be A tier by default, just off of that mechanic. The combo skills, if you just learn how to hold down the combo skill and slide across the map, you really should be able to play the game fairly easily. And I think Sword has that down pack. I'm not too aware about all the other skills, and I think the range is lacking as well. But I think the combo skills compensates a lot, and it makes it more reliable than a lot of these other classes with the RNG problems and the difficulties in playing. So the fact that this is easier, and that's the one big thing about A tier and S tier, is that, no matter what I say about a lot of these classes, I feel like every class going from A to S tier is just an easier class to play. Like, it doesn't mean that it's an easy class, like it's just brain off. Like everybody is in Blade Master. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that they're just easier classes to play because of how they're built. So I'm gonna put Sword here at the bottom, and then I'm gonna put Soulless. Let's see. Let me start moving some stuff around. where I think things are going to start going here. Damn, these classes are getting good, bro. These classes are getting good. Oh, probably put this up here. 1, 2, 3. These classes are getting good. Nah, that's pretty good. Honestly, hold on. Where's it at? Where's it at? Right there. Yeah. I don't think Sword Dancer's that good. All right, so this is tough. I gotta pick one of these. I gotta pick one of these 5. 1, 2, 3. One of these. I'm not the most well versed on Swordian, but I know Swordian has the good summons, the good AoE, the good multi hits. And it's like it's a really bursty. It's not the fastest of classes, so I feel like the movement speed might hurt Swordian a lot. The lack of movement speed, and I believe it isn't as tanky as it used to be. I have not spent enough time on the class, but I am aware that it is more solid and reliable than a lot of these ones that are below. These A tier and S tier are more so about reliability, ease of play, and just damage output. And the fact that if you come into the game playing an A tier plus class, you'll likely have a solid time, and you won't feel like your class is lacking. And so on that note, I will put. Ooh, this is kind of tough. It's kind of tough. These two is kind of tough. I think, which one? I play both of these as well. And Soulless got a rework. I think I'm gonna have to say Soulless. Next. I think Soulless is definitely one of the better Magic classes. It has another one of those difficult kits, but it's not as hard as Demigod once you get it. And Soulless has like versatility in terms of its ability to switch playstyles. I think that's really good. It has really good mobility, oddly enough, for a Magic, one of the older Magic classes. Has really good mobility. It has the versatility, like it can do damn near everything in the game just because of its versatility, depending on your awareness of playing it, understanding of playing it. And it's just easier to play because you have more control over switching over like a class like Demigod, and you're not relying on RNG like these classes down here. And it's more bursty than Archmage, so I think it fits there pretty well. I think these two can be arguable if I played Swordian more. I think that these two could be really arguable. But from my experience and my feeling and the fact that this is more mobile, I'm going to put Soulless over Swordian. I'm gonna put Soulless over. Yeah, bro, Soulless definitely plays well. You just gotta have to know how to play it. It's one of those, you have to understand how to play the class. It definitely works. Definitely a little bit harder, but it definitely up front, I think it's pretty good. Once again, this is all my opinion, though. People have all kinds of opinions. And then according to the server, Soulless is ranked 13. So I don't know where we're at right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So that's pretty close. I have it like at rank 15 or something like that. 12, 13. I have it at 17 actually. So I actually rank Soulless lower than the server did. The server believes Soulless is better than where I have it. All right. Then Spear. Yeah, I think Spear was getting shafted there. Nah. See, I haven't played the new Savior long enough, but off of the feeling of how fast that spinning skill comes back, I can put it up here. But I'm not gonna lie. This is probably the first time I did this in the tier list. I'm actually going to put this lower because I have to remember that with our tier list, that I'm not just factoring in its ability, its absolute potential. I'm also factoring in our server, and apparently a lot of people on the server have a hard time playing Mace Savior because people have a hard time holding the spinning skill because it's one of those holding skills where it repeatedly procs, and if you lag, it'll lag out. So I think the fact that it lags out in our server brings it down a bit. And it's not the highest of damage classes, but it's definitely a solid class. But it's going to be slower than Sword Hero, so I think it goes lower on this list. I think all these classes can perform more reliably solo than Swordian can, and then the hell is this class called? Saviors. Mace Savior. So I'll move it down. Is she holding a sword in this picture? Is she holding a sword? Did I have these in the wrong spots? Are those the wrong Saviors? Are these the wrong Saviors I have in these spots? I can't tell. I think this is a sword in her hand. I think that's right. Mace Savior. And then Spear Hero is better than these. It's easier to play than the rest. Spear Hero replaced Sefirot in terms of the air combat for the melee class. It has a quick summon. It has a life drain. It has a good stun. It has long range hits. It's like hitting long range with a spear is pretty funny. It has a couple weird skills, I will say for sure, but I think it does really good damage. In the fact that it can do a lot of damage while pretty much not being hit at all because it's in the air and it's doing reliable air damage, opposed to Sefirot where you can just be missing the combos pretty crazily. Platina, which one is Platina? Let me know if I should switch these. Somebody say switch in the chat if I should switch those back. But yeah, Spear. I think Spear is a very reliable class. It's very reliable damage up front. I don't know how it ended up getting so low on the server. The server thinks Spear Hero is very low. I don't think so. I think Spear Hero is way better than what people are giving it credit for. It does a lot of damage really quickly. It's very, very bursty with a very good skills on it. A tier, A tier, A tier, A tier, A tier, A tier. Let's wrap up 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 A tier. Let's see. Let's wrap it up. Okay. You preferred sword when you tried sword over spear? That's interesting. I said earlier I didn't get a chance to play sword that long, but I really like spear when I played it. It felt really good to me. It felt really good. But they're in the same bracket. They're in the same bracket. All this is interchangeable regardless. But let's see, what did they say on the server? Oh, the server said that sword is six slots ahead of spear as well. I don't know, bro. That can't be that far away. I think these could be you can move them back and forth, whatever. They're both the same class with different weapon, and this one just has the more vertical movement, while this one more horizontal movement, while this one has more vertical movement. If you ever play DTR, Divine Tree Rapier, with this class, it goes up the dungeon so fast. It's crazy. It's crazy how the vertical movement impacts gameplay. And I think there are a lot more dungeons in the game where this class can get a lot more done a lot faster than this class can. Like there are a lot of traps in the end game where you get trapped in these very small areas and you have to clear the mobs. And I feel like the mechanic that makes this class really good, I feel like it could fall off in some spots where you can't get out. Where this class can still get in the air, it can still stun, wide range, and it can lifesteal. I don't know if sword has a lifesteal, but let me know. Judgement still in here? Hold on, where's Judgement at? Don't tell me I forgot Judgement. Where's it at? Thanks for saying that. Oh, this is. I was wondering. I kept looking at this picture. I thought this was Rogue Master. I thought this was Rogue Master. No, I played Judgement. Judgement is. I mean, Judgement's always been a top tier class in the game. I feel like. I played Judgement. I played Judgement. I feel like I played Judgement. I feel Judgement. Oh, my bad, bro. I'm having a hard time looking at the chat, not gonna lie to you, and thinking about. Pretty sure that the one you just placed is Sword Hero. Oh, yeah, but this one is wearing this one has a sword. I don't think they have an icon of spear, so I just went with the one that looks like it's holding a sword. But yeah, thanks for pointing that out. Judgement. Let's put Judgement in there. Judgement. From the little time I've played it, Judgement, bro. Judgement has like some of the best kiting in the game, bro. It is so good. It is so solid. Like, it's weird too because it's not just kiting with the range skills, bro. It's also kiting with the melee skills in a weird way that works. Cause I played Judgement with like really low stats, and I didn't have my legends done or a lot of experience with it, and I wasn't going through RG as fast as I was on other classes. But like as I was playing throughout the dungeon, the gameplay kept getting better, and I start to feel the potential. But I will say it's a high effort class though. It's definitely another one of those high effort classes. But the kiting this class has, and thinking about the meta of the game and the end game, this class has some really good kiting. It puts mobs to sleep. Bro, it really does work, and the skills come out fast enough where you can get out of danger pretty quickly, especially you get the second sprint. I didn't get the second sprint. Oh yeah, and then the slows on the gun skills. Like, yeah, bro, like the utility is really high. It's all really good. I think it's all really good. Drawbacks. What are some of the drawbacks? Oh, it just takes a lot of effort, bro. My hands were hurting playing this class. Like the quick skill animations are a pro and a con. Like you have to keep pressing skills over and over again. It's like being in an anime playing this class, and it makes my hands hurt. So it feels cool for a moment, and then I start getting tired. All right. We're getting somewhere. I think. Okay, last one. This is probably the last. Dang, S tier is kind of deep. Hold on, bro. S tier is kind of deep. I gotta check this one time. I gotta check this S tier one time. Nah. Somebody gotta come out of here. Somebody gotta come out. It's gonna be. I don't think Sword Dancer's that good, bro. I don't think Sword Dancer's that good. I really don't think Sword Dancer's that good. But I do think Sword Dancer's better than Judgement. I do. I think. And by the way, this is xBow and Stalker. I'm gonna put it at the top of A tier, and I'll explain. I don't know how xBow and Stalker got this low. This doesn't make any sense to me. That just means people are not playing it outside of elite dungeons. xBow and Stalker is not this low. No way. It's damn near DF, bro. It's almost DF. It's just not as heavy. It moves way faster, and it has like all the same skills, just on it with literally reskins. It's like a glitch class, bro. It just glitches around the map, bro. It is 9:15. Oh, never mind. I forgot the server went down an hour ago. I'm like, yo, what is 9:15? Bro, I'm not putting Agni in A tier. Stop it. SD Sword Dancer over the heroes. You gotta understand, bro. You have to understand Sword Dancer. You gotta understand, bro. I'll explain Sword Dancer, bro. I'll explain Sword Dancer, bro. Let me throw Sword Dancer in there. Let me throw Sword Dancer. I'm gonna show you why. I'm about to show you why Sword Dancer's OP, bro. I'm gonna show you why Sword Dancer. Like, it's still good. It's still good. It's not amazing like some of how the tier list is showing it, and some of the hype is getting lately. It's not this good. I don't think Sword Dancer's rank 7. This is the official server tier list, short. But I don't think Sword Dancer's that good. Nah. I'm gonna tell you why Sword Dancer's better than the other ones, though. I'm gonna tell you why, and it's only recent too. It's only recent because they changed all the skills to make them to be able to do in the air. What's up, A1? What's up, A1? But okay, so I think Sword Dancer takes less effort to play than Judgement. I think they have like similar damage, but Sword Dancer has summons, bro. Sword Dancer is a fast-paced. It's a fast-paced, medium to long range physical class with summons. So like, Swordian has the summons and the big AoEs and everything, but it's still slow. SD is a fast-paced physical class with summons. Like, that's just good, bro. It feels good. When I made a new account, a new burning account, and I played SD, and on stream it took me 7 hours to get to level cap. And as you can see with this tier list, when I'm streaming and talking, it takes me forever to do things. So I feel like if I wasn't streaming, I probably would have gotten to level cap on a fresh account playing SD in probably like 5 hours, bro, if I really just rushed through it. Like, SD's good, bro. The summons on the class and then the summon procs are really good. They're just strong. They're wide range. It's a fast class. It works. It works really well. And then all the skills can be used in the air, and that's recent. With the Sanctuary update, it got updated to use the skills in the air. And then it's a subclass with subclass stats, and it also has the warrior strength. I think it's just faster. It's faster than these classes. And Spear Hero, I can see the argument with the spear and sword thing here and there. They're situational classes. They're situational. I think Spear wins in a lot more late game situations than Sword does. But Spear Hero, even though it does the air skills, they're kind of slow. Like it spins fast, but it doesn't go very far. So it's not covering that much ground besides vertically. But it's not covering horizontal ground. So if you mob like 20 mobs and they're not all right on top of each other, you might miss a lot of them. And you might hit some mobs on the upper platform. But SD's fast. SD's fast, and it has summons. You can slide through the map, jump, summon some stuff, run away, slow it down, slide back to the other side, summon some more stuff, proc some other summons, then proc your weapon summon, and then stuff just starts dying all over the place. Like it's just a fast class, and I feel like for where the server has it at rank 7, I feel like I'm not bringing it down that much. All right, cool. And okay, xBow. I feel it, but honestly, I feel like I'm being hard on it when SD's rank 7. I feel like I'm being hard on it when it's the server said it's rank 7, but I'm not even putting it in top 7. So, xBow Stalker is literally DF with a reskin, and like some chopped up cheap animations. It's like they've been trying to rework this class and make it work for years, and it's been terrible. And I feel like they finally just said, you know what, we made DF work, let's just give it DF skills and just change how they look, and then make it bounce around a little bit more of the Windstalker style. But this class has good shield, has good bind, it has essentially Gatling gun, but a actual better Gatling gun. It actually has the best hold skill in the game, in my opinion. Like Mace Savior and DF's Gatling gun, when you hold them down, you'll probably lag out of it, depending on who you are. You're not gonna lag out of xBow Windstalker's flamethrower. It's way more solid. It's like they perfected the concept, whatever they were going for. So yeah, xBow Windstalker's at the top. When I run RG on my DF, when I run Rosengarden, the in-game dungeon, weapon dungeon on my DF, and then I run it on my xBow, it barely feels any different. All right. But it's still a Windstalker, so it's super squishy. Yeah, Archmage has the old fire skill that it's always had, but it's less viable in the current game. It's a very slow paced mechanic. You have to do like some setups and then use it at the last moment. It's good for bosses, I believe, but overall it's not as good as it used to be because the meta has shifted to maps with 20 mobs or fights where you're fighting 20 mobs at a time, and you're going to be missing some of the mobs here and there. It's just, and so staying in place that long is unsafe, and it just has some drawbacks. It could be bigger. All right, top tier. My top tier is going to look similar to what the server says, of course, but a couple changes here and there. I think at the bottom of top tier, probably going to put Maestro. I think Maestro is really good when it comes to combat, but it's slow and it's stationary. So the slow stationary combat is going to bring it back. But I think it's at the bottom of S tier because Maestro is like the only class in the game where like 90% of its skills are life steals, which I think is just really good. Where I feel like in the current LaTale, some of the biggest advantages of classes are their ability to stay alive, or the biggest values of a classes are their abilities to stay alive. And then you have like Rogue Master, which ignores that by just having a lot of damage because it has 2 weapons. But for the most part, I think Maestro is really good because of all of its lifesteal. It's like it's in a class of its own, but it is slow in comparison, and it's stationary, so you have to set up. But when you set up, you'll be fine. I feel like once you get all the mobs together, you'll be fine after that. And I think Maestro's always been a good class in that same regard. But yes, it's slow, but it's still more reliable than a lot of these classes. It's really questionable when you compare it to some of these, depending on the situations. But I think it's reliable and it's solid, and it's the only class in the game that does what it does at all times. So stands out. Similar to Starseeker, similar concept. You know, crazy summon class, go, but another class it's slow. The summons take care of the game for you, for sure, but it's still slow. And you have to resummon every time you go into rooms. And if you are not summoning, if you are not paying attention to the summons, you can get yourself killed easily. But it has a really good shield summon, and it has these traps that are really good. Like, it has like the best traps in the game. I don't know when they added those traps to Starseeker, but they're extremely good. Like, Bow Windstalker has traps, but you have to set them up, and they set up in front of you. But Starseeker sets up these traps like where it's standing, and so it hits the mobs coming from both sides much easier. And they have very low cooldowns, and you can place them on platforms and run away, and they'll still hit mobs. It's just good. It's a really good class. It plays the game for you. It's good. You turn your brain off. Oh, and when you talk about our server and latency, it's probably the best class you can play with low latency. Like Starseeker, honestly TK as well when it comes to being slow and latency thing. But latency isn't going to be the #1 criteria on the tier list. It's just a bonus or a drawback. And I think the latency thing for Starseeker is really good. But it, once again, setup damage, not upfront. It's really, I think this is another finger crusher, the way you have to keep pressing those skills over and over again. The actual active attacks, like the saw has a broken hitbox on it. I think it's really good. And the legend skill, I don't know which one it is. It's one of the, I think it's Legend 4. Where it gets 2 saws from 2 sides. That does ridiculous damage. It's super busted. Yeah, that's Starseeker. That's Starseeker. All right. Now, this one is tough. I actually have not played. This is the only class in the entire cast I have not played yet. But I'm going off of community opinion, and I'm going off of community complaint, because every time I talk about another magic class, everyone just compares it to Archmaster and says, well, he can't do what Archmaster does. Archmaster this, Archmaster that, Archmaster all these things. And so Archmaster is going to be in the S tier. Now, from what I know about Archmaster, what I've been told, oh, hold on, I might be jumping the gun here. I'm actually going to put, hold on, I didn't think about this. BA is faster than Maestro. BA has wide attacks. BA also has the combo skills. BA is really fast, and BA has RGs active before RG even came out. But is BA better than Starseeker? I think BA is faster than Starseeker, but Starseeker is faster in a wider range, while BA is faster horizontally, but BA has a very large amount of damage. BA also proc summons like crazy. BA is extremely easy to play. I think BA takes less effort than Starseeker in some ways. This one's a little tough. Where Force Master's in B tier, and Force Master, like I stated earlier, would be a much higher tiered class if it did not rely on RNG. Force Master relies on RNG. And the RNG factor means it's a hit or miss. You can never reliably play this class, because you're literally rolling dice on what it's doing when you're playing it. It's never guaranteed gameplay when you're playing this class. But if it was guaranteed, I think Force Master could easily be A or S tier. But Force Master also has the drawbacks of having smaller hitboxes when it's attacking compared to its counterpart Archmaster, and it doesn't do setups, it attacks straightforward. So I'm putting Force Master down there, and this is actually my main magic class. But I think Force Master fell off when they got rid of Calamity Jane, and it took a pretty hard hit. Yeah, I think BA is better than Starseeker. It's faster. It's faster. It's just that Starseeker does damage all over the place, but that's a pro and a con, because you can try to lure. Yeah, Starseeker will slow you down a lot of times because if you're not experienced with it. Yeah, so I'm gonna put Starseeker behind BA because of the difficulty of playing it compared to BA. BA is very straightforward in like every sense, while Starseeker has some complexity to it and some inconvenience, because if you're not controlling the robots, you can spend extra minutes inside of a room because the robots are hitting mobs on the other side of the map while you're looking for the portal. So that can create a problem, while BA just gets the job done straightforward, and it gets the job done quickly. And it has the best combo skills in the game. Yeah, isn't it the first? It's the very first combo class they added. I feel like, is that BA came out first, right? Dynasty. Yeah, BA's the first one, and they perfected it early, and they tried to give everybody else BA's set up, and it didn't work out as well. Besides this guy, which it kind of doesn't work out well with him either. Besides his one combo, but Dark Chaser or Popstar? I'm going to say Popstar is probably. I think out of the top 3 mages, the community thinks Popstar is top 5. I think Popstar is the lowest of the top 3 mages because Popstar is still S tier, but I think Popstar is still. I don't know, it just felt slow to me when I played it. When I played Popstar, it felt super slow. It felt like it was definitely easy. You know, it has the party thing. It's only over BA because it's viable in multiple situations. It has the party buff thing going on, and this is an overall tier list. It's one of the most valuable classes in the game, and the buffs are extremely good. So it has more value than just being a straightforward attacker. And they both hold down one button. But I think Popstar, when it comes to these next classes, I think it's the lowest of the top 3. So, yeah, just keep that simple. And then with these two, I still haven't played Archmaster. I have not played Archmaster. I've heard a lot about it. I've seen it in gameplay, but I'm actually going to base these two off of my feeling with Shadow Walker, and also I'm going to base it off of how much easier it is to play Shadow Walker. So I think with these two, I think these 3 magic classes are like back to back. And I think Archmage is a high skill class from what I've been told. It's a high skill class, but it has everything in the game as well, like I've heard, and it has crazy summons, and I've seen the summons at play. I just have yet to feel this class myself. It's literally the only class on the entire list I do not have. It's Archmage, Master, not Archmage. I'm sorry, my bad to the Archmaster players. Archmaster. And then I played Shadow Walker, and this is like one of the best built classes in the game ever. They just built it really well. It's really super simple. It's like what does it remind me of? It reminds me of like a mobile game almost. Like I feel like you could put one of those big circles. I feel like you can put one of those big circles to move your or to press a attack with this class, and you can put like 3 skills around it, and you can just keep rotating those same 3 skills with this class, and then you just press the teleport every once in a while. Like the teleport on this class is like the craziest thing I've ever felt, and I really can't wait to play it more. That teleport is crazy. And then it has a unique mechanic over every other class in a game where dying is very bad and very often, and it's, you know, just a hardcore game, and gameplay and dying is an easy way to get you in the bottom tier. It can literally revive without spending money, so that's pretty OP to me. You feel better, Tiff? You said, oh, hold on, we got a PS, we got a Popstar and Maestro main in the chat. You said you feel better soloing Popstar. You said PS is definitely slower skilling compared to Maestro, but a bit less squishy. So how do you feel, Tiff? How do you feel about Popstar and Maestro? Because once again, I'm not a master of these classes at all, but you actually play both. How do you feel about where they're at compared to one another? Yeah, I think Shadow Walker is just faster. It's faster. Oh, Mace is OP duoing. I mean, well, Popstar is OP duoing too, because if you know you got a Popstar and one of these guys in a party and it just buffs them, it's gonna go crazy, go stupid. But I can see that. Okay, so you cut a lot of minutes off with Maestro versus Popstar. Interesting. Well, I guess one big thing about the Popstar thing that put it here for me too is that it's our #1 buffer in the game and the most like relied upon class for buffing. So Hmm. Yeah. They're mages though. I feel like mages are always built to be squishy to some extent, but Shadow Walker can revive and these ones can't. And I think Shadow Walker is just much faster and it's just easier to play. There's some like setup knowledge you need over some setup knowledge you need with these classes. And honestly, these two could easily switch if I have played this class more or have played this class at all. I have not played this class. I'm only using the community to make my basis off this class. And let's see, the community also thinks Shadow Walker is better than Archmaster, but I have them a lot closer. Black Anima Jade. Nah, it doesn't fight like Popstar, but it does have buffs. It has like Popstar similar buffs or relatively close buffs, but it doesn't fight like Popstar. It has its own fighting style. It's very unique fighting style. I will say though, I think be it Black Anima Jade, Black Anima is probably going to drop after Awakening, while a lot of these are going to come up. I think Shadow Walker is definitely just it's just a crazy magic class. Like it's the newest one. It makes sense. And honestly, they're kind of in order of when they came out, besides Maestro being further back. But Popstar got some crazy buffs in the last couple of years, so I think, yeah, I'm pretty comfortable with where these are, especially when I compare them to the server. The community thinks Popstar is better than every other magic class, and I just can't say that. I can't say that. I feel like it's definitely good, and it has its buffs, but I think the buff thing is carrying this number, this average. The buffing is definitely carrying this class and for the community. While I don't think the community has played this class enough, and I think it's one of those situations where a new class comes out and it's really easy to shun it, like how people are reacting to the Korean LaTale classes that haven't come out yet. It's just really easy to do that these days, and it's 2022. We're all getting older. People don't like new things. People get stuck in their old ways, so it's very easy to shun new things. But after playing this and feeling this class, this is one of the most smoothest gameplay experiences I've had playing this game. And I think if any new player came into the game and played Shadow Walker, it would set a pretty strong precedent for the game. You can always go back. I'm also going to chop this tier list up and find all the good parts and post it. Unfortunately, I spent way too much time doing this, and so it's going to be much longer than I wanted it to be. But luckily, the only way to understand what's going on with these pictures is if you listen to it, because I'm sure a lot of people don't know what all these classes are by looking at the pictures. Okay, now the juicy part. I don't think, as much as I hate on Blade Master for being too good, I still don't think Blade Master should be like number 2. I don't think Blade Master's number 2. I think out of these 4, I think Blade Master's probably the lowest of them all. I think Blade Master is definitely like the pinnacle of LaTale gameplay. But when I start factoring in concepts like damage output, like it's very good. It's the best farming class in the game. It has the most, like, the widest movement range in the game. It's like the most efficient and convenient class to play in the game. And it has a toggle shield like Force Master, but it's more reliable because it doesn't have RNG. And it comes back very quickly. I think Blade Master is definitely very much up there. But I don't think Blade Master's damage is all there. I really don't think I don't think the damage is all there. I think that's the compensator. It's like God mode. It's like the God class, but they took away some of the damage to compensate. And one thing about these 3 classes is that I think they do more damage. Oh, and another thing about Blade Master, if you ever played certain dungeons like DTR, I think Blade Master, depending on the boss, is probably one of the worst bossing classes, because since it relies on that combo system, and it's not doing the most damage, I feel like it gets taken out of his combo in a lot of situations until you're really strong. But the damage just doesn't feel that good. It really doesn't feel that good when I compare it to some of these other classes. And then next I'm going to go with, this is actually, what am I basing this on now? What am I basing this on? This is really interesting to base it on. So the server thinks Rogue Master is 4th out of all these. I can see why. I think not everyone can fund a Rogue Master. I think not everyone can stay alive while playing a Rogue Master. I think North American LaTale is pretty lazy in comparison to the other version of, you know, LaTale, Korean LaTale. I think we have a lazier server and we have less knowledge all around to make this work. I think the people at the very top make it work pretty well, but they're the people at the top. I think the people at the bottom don't have as good of a time playing this class compared to the people at the top who have more knowledge of it. And so I think this class, even though it's like the strongest on paper, this is our strongest class on paper, Rogue Master, I think it has some interesting drawbacks, because I've watched some newer players use it, and they don't seem to be performing anywhere near the way the top players are. Y'all think Blade Master is too high? I really want to say Blade Master is too high too. Trust me. Trust me. I really want to say Blade Master is too high too. But I don't know, man. I've run too many in-game dungeon runs, and I put this class on, and I just close my eyes, and I swear I blink and it's all over. And like, it's not even like it's doing a lot of damage. It's just playing the game for me. Y'all think BM behind BA? I can see that. Let me see. Hold on. I need to put my chat on. I need to put the chat on. What are y'all saying? Can I get the chat on in the stream? Can't really see it, because I want to make sure YouTube is seeing what y'all are saying. Let's see. Ooh, I'm seeing a lot of Blade Master hate. Ooh, I like it. Yo, I like it. Hey, go ahead. Hey, express yourselves, man. Express yourselves, man. Let it out. I love to see it. Let it out. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, tell me about Blade Master. I'm listening. Yeah, I'm listening. Yeah, go ahead. Express yourselves. Let me know about Blade Master. Tell me about Blade Master. Let me know about Blade Master, because I don't know. Let's see. BA is easier, hits harder and harder, dodge, stun mob. So yeah, BA over Blade Master. Okay. BM damage sucks, but it's clear speed and mobbing kind of wild. If you're not doing in-game content yet and you want a very balanced EC class to build, BM is for you. All right, okay. I like that. Oh, okay, shit. So y'all saying Blade Master really is like C tier. That's what I'm. Yo, I didn't say it. I didn't say it. Oh. Blade Master is really like it's like a low A tier. It's like a low A tier. Okay, hold on. Being way too high, being behind BA. Hold on. Okay. Well, guys, you heard it here first. Folks. I didn't do this. This is not me. This is the community speaking. We might need to redo this survey. Something is clearly off. What's going on here? But hey, you heard it. Blade Master behind Mace Savior. So let's move along back to the important things. All right. Let's see. We got Rogue Master, DF, and Agni. I'll be honest. I'll be honest. I think this is a tough one, because as much as I play DF, I'm not even like a DF fanboy. I don't even like hype the class up. When I play the class, I just play the class. It's just solid class. It's really fun to play. I have a fun time playing it. It has really good movement. It's everything I like about a game. And honestly, if I was a Magic player, I'd probably play Shadow Walker over DF. Because I don't know if you all have been paying attention, for any of you who've been following my content, but I clearly like Dagger Windstalker over DF. Dagger Windstalker just underperforms, and I'm waiting for Dagger Windstalker to get Awakenings to see how much better it will be. DF just works, and it's the class that I came back with. I had some kind of weird premonition where it was like, go back to LaTale and play DF, and it just happened. I got back, it worked out, and that is what it is. I respect it. It's a very quality class. I honestly think once DF gets really strong, and I really hate to say it, when DF gets really strong, I think DF is kind of boring. I think once you pick up the mechanical loop, and it's funny because I've seen some people on the LaTale Discord struggle with DF, and I think that's just funny to me, because like it's hard to stay alive with DF, but it's not hard to perform with DF. Like, it's like once you learn the dance, it just becomes sweet. But you have to learn the dance though. It's not a dance that you just pick up for sure. You know what I mean? But like once you learn the DF dance, you realize you're just dancing. You're really just dancing. You know what I mean? It's not even like it's just like a god or anything. You're really just dancing around the mobs. And the dance, once you learn the dance, it's really kind of cheap. It's really cheap. It really is. Like I have a couple videos on my channel, you know what I'm saying, where you can really see it too. If you go to my fastest RG easy run, this one right here, this is the best one. You go to this video right here, the last challenge, you'll really see it's just a dance, bro. It's just a dance. And I think the dance feels good. People like how, you know, people get comfortable in games in general. You know what I mean? You get very comfortable playing a game, and once you learn how to do something and it works for you, you just stick to it. I think once you learn, I don't know what's going on here. This is not what I meant to show you. It's somewhere up here though, where you really get to see it. But like once you just learn the dance, you know what I mean? It has the longest range in the game consistently. You know, Judgement has like a longer skill or something like that. But you just learn the dance, bro. You know, it's the same dance. You look closely, it's the same dance, bro. Nothing special. It's just this dance, bro. And it just works really well. Once you learn that dance, it's not that big of a deal. So I don't know. I think because of the squishiness, it has like some of the most solid utility in the game. It has, you know, the best range consistently in the game. It's very fast, very mobile. It's my main class. It's very fun to play. I can have fun when I start my day, but by the end of the day, it drags out. You know what I'm saying? Like in that sense. And you know, a lot of that applies to a lot of classes. A lot of things get boring as the day goes on. But I don't think DF deserves to be #1. Really don't. I think it's very good. Before I knew that everyone else was playing it, I was like, have you tried DF? You know what I'm saying? Check it out. It's a good class. You know, it's #1 on the list and all this stuff. I don't know where this stuff came from. It's cool. But it's not all that. It's not all that. It's not all that. Not all that. DF is A tier. Can you do an Ely farming gear set prep video guide sometime? If you go on youtube.com and you type in LaTale Ely gain rate guide, there is a great man, one of the gods of LaTale, known as Darky, and you'll find out that he has already created an Ely gain rate guide. And if you look closely, and just in general, if you look very closely on this video where I did an Ely gain rate speed run, this really goes for all my videos. I actually put efforts in my descriptions. You press show more, you'll see that I linked to Darky's guide right there at the top. So I'm not gonna make an Ely gain rate guide because he's already made the best guide possible, and I can't outdo it. All right, now for the big two. Ooh, this is weird. I don't know how I got here. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know how I got here. But Rogue Master, I don't know, man. It's like Rogue Master is harder to play than DF. I think Rogue Master is harder to play than DF. But it has the highest damage potential in the game on paper. But not everybody is a whale. You know what I'm saying? Not everybody's a whale. But the damage comes out pretty quickly. It can survive here and there. It's very simple to play. Very simple to play. Rogue Master's top 3. I don't know how this happened. But Rogue Master's top 3. There's no way this class should have fallen out of top 3. It doesn't make any sense. And I'm gonna be honest, Agni is probably the best class in the game. Agni's probably the best class in the game. I think Agni's probably the best class in the game. And I'm gonna base that off of a couple things. When I was lower level, I had like half of the cast. You know, I have every class now besides Archmaster. I had half of the cast. And when I was leveling up to like 1800, to not, well, I was like past 1800 and I was making my all characters. I made like 10 of them on my first real run of making all characters. I played like half the cast and I played Agni. And every class I played, every single one, I had to do legend skills. Like it was like when I was around like Ascension 2000 or something like that, and I didn't have that much damage, I had to do legend skills, bro. Like it was like if I didn't do legend skills, the dungeon runs would be 40 minutes long and they'd be difficult, and I wouldn't be able to do anything. And I'm not a big fan of Agni. I'll be honest. I'm not a fan of it. It's like I'm not like, and no shade to the class. It just kind of happened this way. But I rolled my runestone page on Agni. It got +2 enchant rate, and I haven't taken it off since. And I'm not. It doesn't press me. Like I'm not pressed to play the class. It's not my play style. I'm not a fan of it. I think it's an amazing class. I think it's arguably the best class. And honestly, the S tier stuff, man, like it's a tier list. It's all opinion. There's no top class. I think DF, DF, it could be the champ. I think any of these classes can be the champ depending on who has what gear, what stats, what situation, honestly. But right now I'm going to put Agni at the top because when I play, and once again, I started this whole thing off with feeling. When I played Agni, and I couldn't get through the game with everything else without using legend skills. I have never gotten one legend skill in this class. I have no idea what this class's legend skills are. Granted, I have a lot of classes now where I don't do legend skills, but my account's way stronger. It's way stronger now. Like, I'm twice the level I was when I made my Agni. But nah, when I made this class, I figured out like 3 things, and I swear I never died. It just never died, and it just did damage, and the game just played really well. It was just face tank invincibility. There's like a 8-second cooldown invulnerability skill that does damage, which is kind of crazy. Why they put it on a character? And then like you don't need to build anything because it just doesn't die. And the moment your shield breaks, you just run away for a couple seconds and it comes back, and then you just go back to the game. The Agni core rotation. I don't know. Let's go take a look. Let's go take a look at Deucey the God. Take a look at Deucey the God. The Agni core rotation. Let's go to let's go back a little bit. He's doing oh, that's the other thing. I didn't even finish. Hold on, I didn't finish. Bro, this is another melee class. And honestly, Black Anima probably could be higher because of this reason. It is another physical class, close combat class, that summons. It has summons in the middle of its gameplay. Yes, DF has a summon as well. It has one, and it's not really a summon. It's more like it's like a, what do you even call it? I mean, it's summoning. It's just that it doesn't. The DF summon, no, it's a summon. When the missiles come down from the sky, that's a summon, because when you press the button, you can still attack while they're coming down. So it's a summon. Agni has summons on its skills, and it has it on like 3 of them or something like that. And then it has like multiple summons too. So like you got this class. Let's close all this stuff. You got this class that's extremely tanky. It can get like crazy stats on its gems, on its magic stone or its stone. And it summons in its combos, and it has like this shield. It has a shield for its HP. It has like multiple shields. It has look at that right there. That skill right there, that's the one I was talking about with the invulnerability. It has like invulnerability in the combo. And then I just learned recently that it can kite really well with like no effort. It's like, well, I won't say it's no effort, but with knowledge and understanding, it kites really well. Like, look at the summons. Look at the summons. Look at the summons. He summoned so many times in this small amount of time, in this small fight. It's just damn near got everything. You got everything. The summons compensate for range. It doesn't die. I think if you, as a new player, if you take Blade Master, which can go anywhere depending on who you're asking at this point. You take Blade Master and Agni, Shadow Walker, DF. I think these 4 classes you don't really need any understanding, and the class is just they just rock, they just play, they just roll, they rock and roll, they rock and roll. These classes rock and roll. Yeah. Let me check chat. Let me check chat. I'm gonna check chat. Checking chat. Checking chat. Checking chat. Checking chat. Y'all going crazy in the chat, bro. Min-max Dagger, crit knife, romance always gets cracked and set effects with webs. Agni, only class I'm not getting past. Only classes like Agni will always feel slow. Big bunk class, not for everyone. Yes, it's definitely not for everyone. Not for everyone. This is not the everyone should play this list. This is also my opinionated tier list, and this is what the server says is good. Which by the way, if you haven't seen it, there it is right there. Bada bing, bada boom. Look at that. These are the results from the server. These are not my opinions. These are the stats from the survey, and you'll see that this looks pretty much pretty different from what's on my screen. Best thing about Agni is the auto animation. Yep, top 10 auto animations. How many buttons is Agni core rotation? It's only a couple. It's not even that many skills. Not even that many skills. Yeah, Agni's summons are passives. They're not active. They're not active summons. Yeah, you know, I juiced it a bit there, but the fact that it still summons, essentially, damn near off cooldown with some luck. It's RNG summons. They're RNG summons. You know, my bad, guys, my bad. Agni has RNG summons. Let's put it next to Force Master. Still, I think it's just good. The summons are just the icing on the cake. It was already good before the summons. Remember, I had it up here before I even mentioned the summons. I forgot about the summons. Oh yeah, when they nerf summons, this tier list is going to go to shambles for sure. For sure. For sure. But yeah, I think this is pretty decent. Blade Master, I don't know where to put it, bro. I don't. This class is just like, I need to like I don't know what this class is. I have more love for Blade Master these days and the coming days of Awakening in general, though, because what makes it so crazy, it's not going to be as crazy as it used to be. You know what I'm saying? Like, PsyKicker doesn't have the, what do they call it again? The combo skills. But PsyKicker's Awakening, good transition. PsyKicker's Awakening allows you to do the punching skills back to back, one after another. And so PsyKicker's damn near attacking as fast as Blade Master after Awakening. You know what I'm saying? Just off of the strength of its ability to do the punching faster in concept. But like, my point in saying that was that like Blade Master it just farms really well. It flies across the map, it farms, it does it. It's cool, fast. Mid gamers will always be biased towards Blade Master. In my opinion, mid game is like, it's like you're able to do all the dungeons in the game on easy, but you can't do all the dungeons in the game on normal. But oh well, Zaf is putting it in by ascension levels. That's interesting. I guess like yeah, technically the mid game when you think of the dungeons, yeah, that does make a lot of sense. Zaf, I guess I'm talking about it like in concept, the mid game concept, because my opinion of in game is that you can do all the dungeons in the game on normal alone within a reasonable amount of time, which is pretty much under 45 minutes. If you can do every dungeon in the game on normal in under 45 minutes, you're pretty much in game, because 45 minutes is where the early game players are doing their hardest dungeons at. You know what I'm saying? So in retrospect, it just means that 45 minutes is like a reflection of the like, I don't want to say peak, I guess like average difficulty, like average peak difficulty of something. Like, I don't know, that's the best way to put it, but essentially when I was progressing through the game, every time I got to a new wall, I would always do a dungeon in like 45 minutes. Like my first time doing RG, The 1800 dungeon took me 45 minutes. But I could still do the dungeon within an hour, essentially. I feel like if you're in game and you can solo all of the dungeons in the game on normal mode within 45 minutes, you're pretty much in game, in my opinion. And there's probably more criteria for that, but it's all just jargon, bro. It's all just jargon. I'll say one thing though, despite all the jargon, I think there's some facts going on here. I think everything from A on my list, everything from A to S is all facts. I think A to S is all facts. Like, I think if you play any of these classes from A to S, not only will you experience a unique playstyle, Popstar and Maestro is pretty similar. Not only will you experience a unique playstyle, well, Hero and the other sorts, but Hero also has like its dash thing that the other ones don't have in their own ways. You'll experience a unique playstyle by playing everything from A to S, and you'll be able to experience the game differently at its peak. I say that. All right, like DF is like solid, all around, strong, relatively fast, but then you get xBow, which is like crackhead DF. Like xBow moves extremely fast. All the skills come out way like twice the time, and it's still a ranged class that can compete with it. But for the most part, I think you play all these classes across the board, you'll have a solid experience, every single one of these, and from A to S. Then you get to B and below, and you start to have these like glaring problems, these problems that are they're right in front of you, and you're like, yo, something feels a little bit off about this. And this is all opinion. SD's right here at the top of A tier, and you know, after Awakening is going to go right here. But yeah, SD's right here for now. I don't think SD's as good as people are trying to hype it up right now. I think people are just prepared for Awakening and are already giving it too much credit because no one plays this class. I don't know. I don't care what anyone says. I've been playing actively for the last 7 months almost, and I swear this class just popped up last week. I swear this class popped up last week. No one was playing this. And by the way, my first subclass on my current main character was an SD. And when I had it, I couldn't get help from anybody. And then I switched to PsyKicker and I still can't get help. But still, no one was playing this class until last week. So there's some skewed data in here. I swear this class just popped up, and it only popped up because of Korean LaTale. It only popped up because of Korean LaTale. But yeah, I'm done with the tier list. That's it. That's the tier list. I wanna I gotta like say some words that conclude this video better, because I need to chop this up, make it a video. Alright guys, that's the tier list.